Hello, the objective for this video is to solve two-step equations. Let's take a look. These types of equations are called two-step equations because you have two steps. Well, the reason you have two steps is because you have two numbers on the same side of the equation as the x. So you have to get rid of one number and then you get rid of the other number, hence two-step equations. Let's unpack this a little bit more. So think of a parent, let's say this mom, taking her two kids to the playground. So she has the bigger guy who's easier to manage. He can kind of take care of it. He can take care of himself a little bit more. And then you got the smaller, younger guy who maybe takes a little bit more effort to keep an eye on. So it's easier for the mom to let the bigger guy go because all she has to do is say, I want you to stay within eyesight of me. If I can see you and you can see me, we're okay. And then she lets him go. Then she can take the other kiddo and she might walk around the playground and say, look, I want you to stay within this fence or don't move off of the playground matting here and stay right in this spot right here. And then she lets him go. So one's easy to let go. The other one takes more time, more effort. Well, we see the same thing with these equations. Let me show you what I mean. So for the two-step equation, you have the equivalent of the big guy that's easy to manage, and that'll be your number that you're adding or subtracting. And then for the younger guy that takes more effort, that'll be like the number where you're multiplying or dividing. And that's what you're going to see. You're going to see an addition or subtraction piece and a multiplication or division piece. One is easier to manage, one's a little harder to manage. Let's take a look at that. As I've shown you in previous videos, an equation is kind of like a seesaw, and then your variable is like a box. The box has some number of guys in the box, but we don't know how many yet. And that's kind of what a variable is. It's just a number we don't know yet. So the first thing we can do to try to get the box by itself is we can get rid of this extra guy. But if we get rid of one guy on the left side, we have to get rid of one guy on the right side. And then after you've done that, now you have just the two boxes because you got rid of this guy. Well, if there's two boxes, that's like 2 times the number of boxes. It's times, so we can then divide. So we can cut this, the number of boxes in half, but then on the other side, we have to cut that in half too. We'll cut the number of guys in half, just like we did in the previous video. And so now, what do we have left? Well, now we only have one box left and we only have 4 guys left. So we did 2 steps. We got rid of a guy and then we cut the number of boxes in half. Let's see what that looks like on the equation. So same approach. You're going to have that's extra guy here, and then we're going to subtract that guy from both sides. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2x plus 0 is 2x. And then 9 minus 1 is 8. Now we got rid of the big boy. We let him go. He's easy to manage. Now we can deal with the other kiddo. So we have 2x. That's a times problem. So we're going to divide. But then you have to divide both sides by the same number. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times x is x. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. And now we have solved a two-step equation by getting rid of both numbers. But let me show you what I mean by why one is easier to deal with than the other. Let's take a look at that now. Okay, on the left side here, I did the addition subtraction first, and then I divided. Well, yes, you can divide first if you like. That's the younger kid. That kid's harder to manage. But we can go ahead and divide first. But we have to divide everything on this side by 2, and then everything on this side by 2. So now it's not just a single division. It actually, we are dividing everything by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times x is x. And then right here, 1 divided by 2. Oh, that's a half. Uh-oh, fractions. Now, fractions are important. We have fractions we use fractions in life all the time. You get half a pizza, you split a candy bar in half, you have half a gallon of gas in your car. So fractions are important, but they're not as easy to work with. Then you have 9 divided by 2, which is 4.5. Oh, now we got 2 fractions. And then we have to subtract, because we wanted to do the division first. Now we do the addition or subtraction last. And then once you do that, you get the same answer. Well, that's up to you which way you want to go. I think that it's easier to do the addition or subtraction first, and then you can multiply and divide. So you pick which method you like. I'm going to stick with the addition or subtraction first for the rest of these problems. So let's go do a couple practice problems. Okay, for number 1, I'm going to get rid of I'm going to take care of the addition subtraction first. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. 1 minus 1 is 0. 3x plus 0 is 3x. And now I divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Done. Now, it doesn't matter if the variable is on the other side. You have 2 numbers next to the variable that you want to get rid of. And so I'm going to get rid of the addition subtraction one first. It's minus, so I'm going to add 1 to both sides. 1 minus 1 or negative 1 plus 1, that is 0. These cancel. I have 3x left. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. By the way, that fraction bar also means division. I'm going to start using that from now on. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. And there you go. Let's look at some problems with division. So here we have the fraction bar, which means division. So that means we're going to multiply. But I like doing addition or subtraction first. That's a plus 1. I'm going to subtract because that's the inverse operation. 1 minus 1 is 0. X over 2 plus 0 is x over 2. And now this is division, so I'm going to multiply. I want to get rid of the 2 because the 2 is what's next to the x. So I'm going to multiply by 2 because it's already a division. But then I have to multiply the other side by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times x is x. And then 5 times 2 is 10. And now we're done. Same thing here for number 4. I'm going to get rid of the addition subtraction stuff first. 1 minus 1 is 0. X over 2 plus 0 is x over 2. And now that's a divide by 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times x is x. And we are done. There you go. That is solving 2-step equations. You have 1 step, and then you have another step because there are 2 numbers to get rid of. Let's take a look at what's coming up next. Next up is our equations that have multiple steps to do. Well, you can already see 2 steps here, but then you have an extra step, and usually it's going to be some sort of simplifying. So again, you have 2 sides of the equation. You have this blue expression on the left, and you have the red expression. The blue expression has extra stuff in there, so we can simplify. 5x minus 3x is 2x plus 1. Oh, that's this equation here. So you have to simplify, then you can do your 2 steps. Hence, we call this multiple steps. Okay, that's it for this lesson. See you in the next video.